we move forward to a clip that I really love. Every once in a while, Jason will throw a clip through a rundown that I'm just like...
Guardiola. Pep.
I'm dining out.
Trying to think.
I'm dining out on
What
the
is
clip.
Manchester City's mascot's name or their team name? The Blues?
I was going to say, you're expecting me to know a team...
Not the mascot,
The
but what's like
mascot.
their nickname? Like the Chelsea or the Blues? Manchester City are the... You have no idea. Unbelievable. You guys need... That's why it doesn't catch on in America. You need a cool name like the Manchester City Aztecs or something. They'll spear your opponent.
Manchester United
The
are the
Manchester
Red
United,
Devils.
the Manchester United pikemen.
They're the Red Devils, and they
different.
have a spear. They have the most powerful spear in the history of the Devils.
Yeah, but if it's
fork.
just one, if you have the Red Devils and then nobody else is like the Blues.
And Jason, there's one thing that's never going to catch on, and it's the gimmick of American sports. The mascots are cringeworthy, man.
Then put me in charge.
Because
I will give names and mascots to
They
all the
already
teams.
have awful mascots.
That clip is
Gunnosaurus Rex. How much more cheesy can you get?
It's all about cheesiness.
The
We're doing a
Gunnels.
clip. We're gonna
It's for kids.
rename all of the teams in England.
Rename the names.
with their own mascot.
I think that's a
and their
good
own
clip.
team name.
About turn English Premier League teams
Like, are you ready for this?
into American
The
sports.
whole city Bullets. Oh, that's good. That's
I'm already
good.
thinking about. Dan, get the clip ready. I'm already thinking about it. The West Bromwich Albion Sharks.
Not enough water. I think you're looking for more of like the West Brom Generals. Oh my God, so
You've
good.
got it. You're obviously American.
This is good.
All right, but we're going to move forward. So this clip is an interesting one because Pep Guardiola is struggling in comparison to his winning record that he had both in Germany and in Spain. So Guardiola is a rare manager because he's still early in his managerial career in comparison to the Ancelottis, even the Mourinhos of the world, because he came out fresh from a very... I would say admirable career as a player, managed Barcelona B, and then went straight in and took up the reins as Barcelona manager. And let's be honest, he will go down in history as one of, if not the best Barcelona manager in history, because he basically laid the foundations for the Barcelona team that will play this way for years to come.
Is that something that managers should do more of? Is start with the youth team or the B team, and then work their way up, because then you have a clear
It's a cutthroat business,
understanding.
mate.
It is, I know,
Yeah.
but I was just saying, it's a clear understanding of what is coming
Yeah.
later. So if you can do it on that level, I guess it's just extremely difficult. There's like what, 8 great managers?
Yeah,
in the
there's,
world?
in these teams, especially if you take over a team, like let's say Borussia Dortmund, like Jurgen Klopp didn't have the youth. Like he didn't come from their youth,
He
but
has a
he,
culture,
in a way,
though.
he did set the foundations the way that Guardiola did, but he didn't start in the youth system. He basically just laid the foundations, and now this team plays still very similarly to the way that he started. Like that's what these good managers do. He created a
something.
system.
You created a culture or a system, and yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm not saying that the current Dortmund team plays exactly like Jurgen Klopp, but they play similar to the way that he did.
Thomas Tuchel.
But the way that what Guardiola did is so rare in football is that even some of the best managers will take over Barcelona, and whether they want to add their own unique spin, they'll still play to a very similar Guardiola style of football because he put in the tiki-taka system.
If
and
it
he
ain't
made
broke,
it
don't. I've been saying this is the theme of the week. They've ruined the World Cup. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you're gonna take over Barcelona, don't break it.
The only biggest
if you're gonna
test-
take over Manchester City, don't break it.
The biggest test it would be like putting in maybe someone who's got such their own fundamental style of football, like a Jose Mourinho. Would he change a Barcelona?
Did Antonio Conte not change Chelsea, or am I making this up?
No, he changed it. He's changed it into his own. So there's managers that take their style with them, but it's an interesting theory. How would a manager take their own style to a team that has notoriously given birth to a style of football that has been so successful? Do you take your own style in and change it up? If you're a Jose Mourinho, do you go into a Barcelona and do you make them more defensively sound? I think there'd be uproar. I think there'd be protests
It's like
outside.
naming
The
a
Barcelona
dog.
fans don't want to throw their scarves onto the field in glory at a team that's ground out a 1-0 result, you know?
It's like naming a dog Luna, and at age 5 you go, you know what? Your name's now Fluffy.
What? You start calling her and she just
Dog's
runs
like-
to some random
Yeah,
guy.
dog has no idea what's going on.
So to get back to the clip as a whole, I think there is a clip in there about, one, talking about English Premier League teams, how they would be called American team names. I think that's funny. And two, managers who laid their system in place and people still play that way. I think there is a certain few.
But 3?
But 3 is the Guardiola system. It's not working as well as he would imagine. Still early days at Manchester City. So let's take a look at his managerial record, the numbers. So
good.
His winning percentage
goal differential
at Barcelona B.
Oh my God.
Yeah, his goal differential is ridiculous. Look at the goals for and against in La Liga, and you tell me that league is the most competitive league in the world. Look at his
career goal differential.
It's ridiculous. So
the winning percentage is what you're getting to.
His winning percentage at Barcelona B, yeah, it's good, but let's not focus on things that don't matter as much. But Barcelona, his winning percentage at Barcelona, 72.47%, but he had the trophies to go along with it. At Bayern Munich, he was there only 3 years. And look at his winning percentage. The games he won in comparison to the ones he lost whilst playing in both Bundesliga and Champions League are very impressive. But he didn't add the Champions League to his career there, so people will say it's a failure. It's not. He was a phenomenal manager at Bayern Munich. He's laid foundations there. They're not going to catch fire as much as what he did at Barcelona because he took his Barcelona style to Bayern Munich. It was always going to be the Barcelona style.
Systemic.
Yes, and he's taken it to Manchester City, right? The thing about the Premier League that I always will say sets it apart from everyone else is the fancy football will never, and I may be bold in this claim, in my lifetime, be as successful as it could be in La Liga, in Bundesliga, anywhere else. Because it's such a fast-paced league. Teams are so competitive, and I think that the competition from start to finish will not allow you to be as lucrative and successful solely playing fancy football. Doesn't mean that fancy football won't work because we look at the Invincibles in Arsenal. What a phenomenal season. But Guardiola needs to take the fancy football and add the parts that make a team so successful in the Premier League. The hard work, the grit, the determination, the squad depth. You cannot go out with a messy system and play relying on him to be so great every single week. You need to add things
also
around
have to have the wherewithal to understand that you can't take any of your opponents lightly. Not that I think that in... No, actually I do. I find it very difficult to believe that in Pep Guardiola's time at Barcelona, when he went to play a lower or bottom of the barrel
a Levante or a Granada.
A Levante, that it was taken nearly as seriously as it would be if you were playing Atletico. The problem is, or Real Madrid. The problem with the Premier League is, unfortunately, on any given... This is a term used in American football. On any given Sunday, anything could happen.
Yeah.
I guess on any given Saturday at 4:20 a.m. American time.
Yeah.
Because that's when I'm watching it.
That's how I
Anything
watch
could
it.
happen.
And at 4 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
There's just... It's not that, like, the 6 or 7 teams that compete for a top 4 spot year after year in the Premier League are better than that of one Real Madrid or one Atletico or one Borussia Dortmund or a Bayern. It's that, as a whole, they all pose different challenges. And it creates problems because I think you're seeing so many different styles of play in the Premier League that it's a different type of game plan every single week. Whereas, I don't know, it just seems like in La Liga, your system's been in place for so many years, as you're saying for Barcelona, you don't really have to do all that much.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a day at the office.
Yes.
A routine day. And that's not to discredit any other league, but it's also why you've been saying for so long that I don't know if you're not watching the Premier League because you don't think it's as talented or class as other leagues, then you're just missing out on the unpredictability.
What makes the sport great, yeah. How unpredictable it is, the competition. So here's...
Sorry to cut you off, but I do think that there will be a time where we'll get fancy football work. I think at some point, fancy football personnel and a coach will come along. And
not in my
all
lifetime.
Sink.
I don't think in my
I'll
lifetime.
do it.
Yeah,
give me the West Brom Generals and we'll move into that. Are you kidding?
Here's the point that I think kind of hits home the difference, right? Pep Guardiola, in what he did at Barcelona, as you mentioned, like, you prepare as you should prepare. Your own team first. You don't need to worry about the opponent. Like, how many times do you think Luis Enrique, let's be honest, is sitting there on the chalkboard with Barcelona playing at home thinking, all right, Granada's got this, this, and this. I'm not underselling Granada. I'm just saying that your team is so good that you rarely, unless it's Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, the odd case of Sevilla, or now Villarreal, as you see them good, you're not going to have to focus so much on them when you're playing at home. Going away from home, yeah, you're going to have to look at what their strengths are and try and work around it, but you're still going to use the system that you know well to go and beat that team. But in the Premier League, any given team can cause you so much problems that you're going to have to try and figure out a way to utilize their weaknesses to your own strength, right? So what I mean by that is, so if West Brom's traveling to the Etihad I'm not saying that Pep Guardiola is going to spend 80% focusing on West Brom and 20% on Man City. I'm saying it's going to be a little bit more even, rather than what he would have done at Bayern Munich and at Barcelona. Because he could go the full season not beating Chelsea in a head-to-head, not beating Manchester United in a head-to-head, and still win the Premier League. Leicester City didn't have to beat a Manchester United home and away, a Man City home and away, even though they did beat Man City, to win the league. But you cannot say that about La Liga. The only way Barcelona can win that league is if they beat Real Madrid. They need to beat them when they play them in April, and they need to hope that Atletico Madrid beat Real Madrid. Because other teams like Granada, Levante, I know I'm using the same ones, they're not going to beat a Real Madrid and cause that problem.
Here's your proof in that pudding, if you will. If Barcelona had beaten Athletic Bilbao in the Copa del Rey round of 16 match, first leg 4-0, I guarantee you Messi, Neymar, Suarez, and Piqué are at that award show.
Yeah.
But they lost 2-1. So they had to all of a sudden take a game that they would never have taken as seriously as they did, and had to stay back. And because Enrique said, no, it looks like I got to prepare a little bit more for this one than I ever would have had to in the past.
Yeah. It's a different league, and it's a challenge this is why Pep Guardiola took this job. He achieved phenomenal success in the clubs that he managed, and he wanted to, and I give him so much respect for that. If you're thinking I'm doing this clip as a means to say that Pep Guardiola is never going to get to that level of success,
it hasn't even been a calendar year.
Exactly. You need to give the man time. But what I'm saying is, in my own way of saying it, is that I don't think Pep Guardiola can imply the same system, just the same system that he had at Barcelona, to go ahead and have success in the Premier League. And that can be said about Germany. I don't think his same system transferred over to Germany as well. He had to make adjustments. He pulled Philipp Lahm out of right back and put him in defensive mid because he didn't have a Busquets. So he needed to make someone in a similar system to play like a Busquets. And in Manchester City at the moment, they don't have a Busquets. They bought a Gundogan, who is now injured, and then they're toying with a Fernandinho and a Yaya Toure to try and have that same system. He's going to have to figure out a way to try and make it work with what he has at the moment. And you better believe next summer, as much as everyone's going to laugh, oh, Man City, they're going to try and spend millions on John Stones to come in and play, even though he's not playing to his potential. This is what needs to happen when you have a Guardiola system. You need to find the pieces that fit into that. And at the moment, I don't think they have it. So he's facing a tough task.
Very well said. The West Ham Hammerhead Sharks.
The West Hammerhead Sharks.
I'm here.
I would just take away the ham.
I'm here all week.
I would just go straight into it, the West Hammerhead Sharks.
The West Hammerhead Sharks?
Yeah.
I'm here all week, probably all year.
The Manchester United Colonels.
Not bad.
Because they're United Colonels.
Yeah, no, it's good. We'll get
the
there.
Manchester City Rangers.
Yeah, see, that's good. That's good.
We'll sell it. We're giving away the clip already. We need to wait. We need to hold it in because
Arsenal's easy. The Arsenal Cannons. I mean, come on. Come on! It's too easy. It's too easy.
Hit the subscribe button.
Please subscribe. You don't know how far it goes. Our EP just walked out. He can't handle us anymore.
As Morpheus would say, if you hit the subscribe button, you're definitely taking the blue pill. You're seeing how far this rabbit hole goes.
Lawrence Fishworm.